Wills are usually serious business. Final words, legal documents, paperwork. But in the US, sometimes they're a bizarre blend of legacy and lunacy, from million-dollar cats to haunted clown funerals. These are 101 of the strangest things ever left in American wills. Let's get weird. 1. A wealthy New York woman left $13 million to her cat, Tommaso. Her only condition? That the cat be taken care of in luxury for the rest of its life. The feline now lives in a mansion in Italy, with servants, velvet pillows, and, allegedly, a better diet than most of us. 2. In his will, comedian Jack Benny arranged to have a single red rose delivered to his wife every day for the rest of her life. Even after his death, she received a fresh rose daily for nearly a decade. That's commitment, and possibly the most romantic posthumous flex in history. 3. A Vermont farmer bequeathed his entire fortune, about $5 million, to his favorite diner waitress. No relation, no strings attached. Just good coffee, great conversation, and apparently a massive payday. 4. A British-American eccentric left his entire estate to whoever had the most children at the time of his death. The result? A bizarre local baby boom as families competed to claim the fortune. When money meets fertility, things get real weird. 5. A man in California willed his entire savings to his dog, Max, under the condition that Max be dressed in a tuxedo every Sunday. No word on how Max feels about formal wear, but the dog's lawyer, yes, the dog has a lawyer, insists he's happy and well-tailored. 6. One woman in Florida left her house and belongings to a complete stranger who once helped her with a flat tire. The will included a note, "Kindness is rare, you deserve the world." Just imagine fixing a tire and getting a house in return. 7. A Texas man left his vintage car collection to his parrot. In the legal language of the will, the parrot became the guardian of the collection, and the family was instructed to play Elvis songs on loop in the garage. The bird reportedly has great taste in music. 8. A woman in Oregon requested to be buried with her smartphone and charger, plus a prepaid plan good for 5 years, just in case. Her family honored the wish, though they still get monthly notifications from her carrier. Guess some habits really do follow us to the grave. 9. An eccentric millionaire left $500,000 for the construction of a UFO landing pad on his rural Montana property. The condition? That it includes welcome signs in 3 alien languages he invented himself. Sadly, the aliens have yet to RSVP. 10. A former magician left his ashes to be hidden inside a deck of playing cards, with no instructions on which card. The cards were distributed at his funeral, turning his farewell into one final disappearing act. Somewhere out there, someone's holding a ghost in the palm of their hand. 11. A Colorado woman left a clause in her will demanding that her heirs adopt and care for her 32 pet turtles, or forfeit their inheritance. Each turtle had a name, a custom-built terrarium, and a detailed personality description. The kicker? They also had designated birthday parties. 12. A Las Vegas poker champion left his entire estate to the luckiest person alive on the day of my death. How was that determined? By holding a scratch-off lottery among people present at his wake. The winner, a guy who just came for the free food, walked away with over $3 million. 13. One man left his fortune to the city of Detroit, with one bizarre condition. They must build a 20-foot golden statue of him wearing a cape and holding a cheeseburger. Officials declined, but not before several fast food chains offered to sponsor the statue. Sadly, the Burger King never got his throne. 14. An Illinois woman donated her body to science, but left a footnote. She wanted her skeleton to be used as a Halloween decoration. Today, her bones are proudly displayed every October in a college anatomy class turned haunted house. Talk about a legacy with a sense of humor. 15. A retired librarian in Kansas left $2 million to the local library, but specified it could only be spent on expanding the science fiction section and installing space-themed furniture. The library now features rocket-shaped chairs and a life-sized cardboard Spock reading corner. 16. One eccentric inventor requested that his ashes be mixed with glitter and launched from a confetti cannon during his memorial. His funeral ended with a literal bang as mourners were showered with sparkly remains and Queen's Don't Stop Me Now playing at full volume. 17. A Boston man, known for his prankster nature, left a clause in his will stating that all mourners at his funeral must wear clown noses or be disinherited. The sight of dozens of relatives sobbing in rainbow wigs and red noses was bizarrely touching and totally on brand. 18. A tech entrepreneur left a flash drive containing encrypted files and a mysterious note. The real treasure lies within. To this day, no one has cracked the encryption, and the will's cryptic hint has spawned Reddit threads, YouTube theories, and one mini-documentary. 19. A Texas cattle rancher willed that his cows receive classical music every evening to keep them cultured. He installed speakers in the barn and created a trust to fund nightly symphonies for the herd. Local musicians even volunteer to play live once a month. 20. A woman from Maine left detailed instructions for her funeral, which included her embalmed body posed in a rocking chair, knitting. "I want to leave this world the way I lived in it," she wrote. Guests said it was equal parts heartwarming and deeply unsettling. 21. A Pennsylvania man who believed he was reincarnated from a medieval knight left his estate to the modern-day British monarchy. His will included a sword, a sealed scroll, and the phrase, "For the realm." Buckingham Palace reportedly returned the package with a polite thank you note. 22. An amateur poet left his belongings to the most poetic soul among his grandchildren, determined via poetry contest. The winner, a 9-year-old, won a house, 3 cats, and a room full of dusty notebooks. Critics say her haiku was shockingly good. 23. A man from Arizona who despised his HOA left $100,000 to a law firm, instructing them to file endless, petty complaints against his neighborhood's board for as long as the money lasted. His posthumous revenge reportedly caused 3 resignations and a new ban on bird baths. 24. One woman, obsessed with the number 7, made it a condition that her will only be read at exactly 7:07 a.m. on the 7th day of the 7th month in room 707 of a local hotel. Her lawyer complied, and the odd timing made the event feel like something out of a mystery novel. 25. A man who once worked as a theme park mascot left a portion of his estate to fund an annual mascot parade through his town. The only requirement? All participants must wear vintage-style foam costumes and perform one choreographed dance. It's now a local tradition called the March of the Mascots. 26. A man from New Orleans, obsessed with jazz, willed his prized trumpet collection to be buried with him inside a transparent, upright coffin designed to look like a display case. His funeral procession included a full brass band and dancers in feathered costumes, escorting him down Bourbon Street like a museum exhibit on wheels. 27. A retired Hollywood makeup artist left an eerie request. She wanted to be embalmed and made up to look like Marilyn Monroe. White dress, red lipstick, blonde curls and all. She also asked for a wind machine to be placed at her grave every anniversary. Apparently, the glamour never dies. 28. A quirky Oregon artist left behind a will that stated his ashes were to be mixed into paint and used to create 100 original abstract pieces. The resulting series, titled Reincarnated Brushstrokes, now hangs in a local gallery, sparking endless debate over where the art ends and the artist begins. 29. A wealthy dog trainer set up a trust to ensure that her dogs would continue receiving monthly pup massages and spa treatments, including aromatherapy and pedicures, until their final days. She even specified that the dogs be spoken to only in encouraging tones. 30. One man with a love of puzzles left a scavenger hunt as his will. Each clue led to a location connected to a memory he shared with his kids. The final prize was the deed to his lake house, hidden inside a waterproof capsule buried under their old treehouse. Spielberg should have filmed it. 31. A former Vegas magician left a note saying his fortune would go to whoever can unlock the box beneath the stairs. The box, sealed with 6 different locks, has been sitting unopened for years. So far, 3 locksmiths and 1 YouTuber have failed to crack it. 32. A wealthy beekeeper from Georgia left his honey farm to his bees. Yes, his bees. Technically, the trust he set up pays caretakers to honor the bees' legacy and keep their hives active. The will also forbids honey exports, declaring, "The bees belong to this land." Sweet and slightly unhinged. 33. A science teacher with a flair for drama requested that his ashes be launched into the atmosphere via weather balloon, carrying a note that read, "Still watching the skies." The balloon was tracked for over 60 miles before finally bursting, releasing the teacher back into the jet stream. 34. A lifelong prankster from Ohio arranged to have his tombstone inscribed with a crossword puzzle. The catch? Only those who solve it can decode the access code to a hidden online vault containing unreleased stand-up routines and personal confessions. His family says only one person has cracked it so far. 35. A man left his barbershop to his favorite customer, who he only knew as Bob from Tuesdays. Problem is, no one knew Bob's full name. The will sparked a town-wide search for the mysterious regular, complete with flyers, newspaper ads, and even a Find Bob pub crawl. 36. A woman who loved birds requested that her jewelry be melted down and recast into bird seed feeders shaped like songbirds. Every spring, local volunteers hang dozens of tiny golden sparrows filled with seeds in her favorite park. Her diamonds now sparkle in the sun and in the beaks of cardinals. 37. A former mayor left behind a list of enemies, along with $10,000 for each person on the list. But only if they attended his funeral and toasted him with a shot of whiskey. To everyone's shock, they all showed up. Turns out, spite pays, literally. 38. A Minnesota man with a passion for miniatures left behind a fully furnished doll-sized mansion he spent 40 years building. His will insisted it be kept on display for curious children and overly serious adults. The tiny grand piano even plays real tunes. 39. A woman left her collection of rare taxidermy animals to the local children's museum on one condition: each animal must be named by a child. The result? An exhibit featuring Sir Fluffsalot, Captain Nibblestein, and Gregory the slightly disappointed weasel. 40. A passionate gamer left instructions for his Xbox Live account to remain active for 10 years after his death, with regular updates and achievements posted by a friend. His gamer tag, Dead But Grinding, has become something of a legend in the online community. Part ghost, part gamer, all dedication. 41. A retired ostrich farmer from Nevada requested that his ashes be blended with ostrich feathers and scattered during a choreographed dance routine to the tune of "Don't Stop Believin'." The will also insisted that the lead dancer wear an ostrich costume and that the bird he called Senator Greg be in attendance. Yes, the bird got a front row seat. 42. A San Francisco fashion designer left their wardrobe to whoever passed a style test. Contestants, mostly relatives, had to craft and model outfits using only items from a thrift store and duct tape. The winner strutted in a suit made from vinyl records and feather boas and walked away with $300,000 worth of couture. 43. A former cruise ship performer bequeathed his entire fortune to the cast of a small-town community theater that once let him play the lead in Cats. His will specified the money must be used to build a new stage, paint every wall seafoam green, and fund an annual musical tribute to himself called The Legend of Marty. 44. A man obsessed with time capsules buried 50 of them across the U.S., each containing pieces of his estate, from stocks to rare collectibles, and left a cryptic treasure map in his will. So far, only 12 have been found, and online forums are filled with theories on the rest. It's like real-life national treasure, but with fewer explosions. 45. A tech-savvy grandmother left an iPad loaded with a single app that displayed a countdown. No one knows what will happen when the timer hits 0. It's set to expire in 2044, and the family has refused to tamper with it. Her note simply read, "Wait, trust me." Some think it's a joke. Others are legit nervous. 46. An old-school librarian left their life savings to a local coffee shop under one condition. They had to create a silent cafe where no one was allowed to speak, only whisper or write notes. The cafe now attracts introverts and TikTok influencers alike, proving that quiet rebellion pays off. 47. A man who was obsessed with Elvis Presley left his house to the first person who could successfully impersonate the king for a full 24 hours. That meant voice, outfit, and attitude non-stop. The winner reportedly slept in a sequin jumpsuit and ordered fried peanut butter banana sandwiches at 3 a.m. Commitment rewarded. 48. A woman who had no children but dozens of houseplants left her estate to whoever agreed to adopt all 94 of them and keep a daily watering journal. The new plant parent, a college student living in a studio apartment, now runs a successful Instagram account called The Inheritarium. 49. A retired baseball coach from St. Louis left his ashes to be mixed into the chalk used on the high school's baseball field for one final season. Every time a runner slid into home plate that year, they were, unknowingly, part of Coach Donnie's last game. He even left a scoreboard plaque that reads, "Still watching." 50. A woman who collected antique dolls instructed that her favorites be given new lives with names, birthdays, and Instagram accounts. The executor of her estate took the job so seriously that the dolls now have over 200,000 followers and regularly post birthday parties, tea times, and creepy seasonal photo shoots. 51. A conspiracy theorist in Montana left behind a bunker filled with survival supplies, gold bars, and a VHS tape labeled, "Watch this when they come." The will instructed heirs to only enter the bunker if the sky turns purple. The tape? Just him, rambling in a tinfoil hat for 47 minutes. 52. A woman who spent her life collecting soap bars from around the world willed her 2,000-piece collection to a museum of oddities with the note, "Please keep them smelling nice." The museum honored her wish by rotating the bars monthly and running a diffuser with lavender oil nearby. Talk about a fragrant legacy. 53. A retired toy inventor left a full-size replica of his childhood bedroom inside a warehouse. The will insisted that nothing be touched, and that any visitor must enter barefoot and bring a toy to offer to the room. Locals now treat it like a sacred pilgrimage site for nostalgic weirdos. 54. A Florida man left his surfboard collection to his dog. The catch? The dog, named Hang 10, had to continue surfing in annual competitions, or the boards would go to his rival, a Pomeranian named Tubular Ted. The dog's current caretaker claims Hang 10 still hits the waves every summer, shades and all. 55. A late-night radio DJ left behind a fully recorded, eternal playlist, a 365-day, 24/7 rotation of his favorite tracks, commentary, and midnight ramblings. He instructed his heirs to stream it non-stop online. The site, called Ghost FM, is still live and playing. Some claim his voice occasionally changes, like he's still updating it from beyond. 56. A man who spent his life working as a food critic left his money to the most average diner in America. His lawyers compiled a nationwide search using Yelp reviews, menu prices, and ambiance ratings. The winning spot, a small cafe in Nebraska, received $450,000 and a plaque that reads, "Rewarded for being okay." 57. A woman in Ohio, known for her elaborate Halloween displays, left a clause stating that her home must continue to host a haunted house every year, using her original props and audio recordings. The catch? She also left behind a life-size animatronic of herself, programmed to greet visitors with, "Welcome back, I'm watching." 58. A couple who loved board games willed their entire estate to the first group of 4 who could beat their homemade game, Inheritance Quest. The game took 12 hours to complete, involved trivia about the couple's life, and required players to wear medieval costumes. The winners now own a vineyard in Oregon. 59. A lifelong subway enthusiast left his fortune to the city transit system, with a condition that one train be renamed after him. For the next 10 years, commuters rode the Lenny Express during rush hour. Some even claimed it ran more on time than the rest. Lenny would have liked that. 60. A woman who ran a dog grooming business left $50,000 to fund a canine prom in her town. Dogs dressed in tuxedos and gowns attend with their owners, vote for prom king and queen, and take professional portraits. Proceeds go to local shelters. Yes, it's real. Yes, it's adorable. 61. A man who loved ice cream left a freezer full of pints, each with a letter taped to the lid, for his grandchildren. The instructions? Only open one per year on your birthday. Each pint includes a memory, advice, and a terrible dad joke. The grandkids call it the Cold Wisdom Project. 62. A reclusive author left a locked trunk with the note, "Don't open this for 50 years, no matter what." The family debated, but agreed to wait. Conspiracy theorists are already counting down the years, betting on what's inside. Some say it's a manuscript, others say something alive. 63. A man left behind a fully decorated Christmas tree, preserved in a climate-controlled storage unit, with a note asking that it be set up every December in the town square, until the apocalypse or further notice. The lights still work. The ornaments? All tiny photos of his cats. 64. A retired pilot left each of his grandchildren a sealed envelope labeled, "Open when you're ready to fly." Inside, a single airline ticket to anywhere in the world and a letter that begins, "Take off." One grandchild used it to go to Iceland. Another chose Disney World. The third? He's still waiting. 65. A man obsessed with pigeons left his rooftop coop and $100,000 to whoever would care for his 87 trained birds. The odd part? Each pigeon had a name, a favorite treat, and some were rumored to deliver secret messages. The new caretaker claims some still fly off for hours, then return with crumbs and mystery. 66. A former wedding planner left $20,000 to fund one over-the-top wedding for a random couple in need. No questions asked. Every year, her foundation selects a couple with a good story and throws them a fully paid, extravagant ceremony. The only requirement? They must toast to Aunt Margie during speeches. 67. A man who loved elevators left a portion of his wealth to have his ashes mixed into elevator lubricant and applied to the lifts in his office building. "So I can still go up and down with the team," he wrote. The building complied. Every elevator now has a sticker that reads, "Powered by Phil." 68. A Brooklyn artist left behind 50 canvases, each blank, labeled with titles like "Portrait of Regret" and "Still Life My Life." His heirs were instructed to fill them in themselves, preferably during emotional breakdowns. The resulting art exhibition was a surprise hit. 69. A woman who adored frogs left her estate to the creation of a frog appreciation center in her town. It features live frogs, frog-themed art, and a hopsicle course for kids. The town thought it was a joke, until the ribbon-cutting ceremony drew national media attention. 70. A man left his ashes to be baked into ceramic mugs for his family. Each mug was engraved with his name and the phrase, "Sip with Stan." According to his daughter, the mugs are oddly comforting, especially during morning coffee. "He always said he wanted to be part of our routine," she said. And now, he is. 71. A woman who adored reality TV left her estate to fund an annual family drama night, where her relatives reenact legendary arguments from shows like The Real Housewives. Each year ends with a fake rose ceremony and an award for most chaotic energy. Her lawyers live-stream the whole thing, per her will. 72. A retired clockmaker left 300 antique clocks to the city, but only on the condition they all be set to chime simultaneously every day at noon. The resulting wall of sound now echoes through the town square like a time-themed horror movie. Tourists love it. Locals, not so much. 73. An avid prankster left his will encoded in Morse code. The only clue? A blinking Christmas light nailed to the wall of his study. His family had to decode it letter by letter to unlock a safe containing the will, and a whoopee cushion signed "From Beyond." 74. A Las Vegas Elvis impersonator left his prized white jumpsuit to whichever family member could best perform Suspicious Minds in front of a live audience. The performance went viral. The jumpsuit now resides in a shadow box above the winner's fireplace, rhinestones and all. 75. A woman who ran a miniature poodle rescue left behind a full-scale replica of her home, furnished entirely for dogs. The tiny mansion includes velvet dog-sized sofas, a mini chandelier, and even a working doggy elevator. It's now open to visitors as the Pampered Pup Palace. 76. A man who loved astronomy left his cremated remains to be launched into space aboard a private rocket. His only request? That his name be engraved on the capsule with the message, "I always aimed higher." His family tracked the orbit and celebrated his return each time he passed overhead. 77. A competitive hot dog eater left behind a freezer full of vacuum-sealed hot dogs and the simple instruction, "Do with these as you will, but know this, I'm watching." No one has dared touch them. They've become a strange, salty shrine in his nephew's garage. 78. A beekeeper left a strange stipulation. His tombstone must include a live hive. His family honored it, and now the grave buzzes year-round with bees. Visitors are warned not to approach without flowers, and not to wear yellow. He always said he'd stay busy in the afterlife. 79. A professional mime left everything to a silent retreat center, but only if all the legal paperwork was signed without speaking a word. The entire transaction was conducted through hand gestures, facial expressions, and dry erase boards. The closing attorney reportedly hated every second. 80. A man obsessed with jigsaw puzzles left behind a 10,000-piece custom puzzle depicting a map to his hidden wine cellar. The catch? He didn't tell anyone what the completed image would be. It took 3 years, 2 marriages, and a spreadsheet to solve it. The wine was mediocre. 81. A woman who loved novelty mugs left each of her 67 nieces and nephews a mug with a personalized pun and $1,000 hidden inside. Mugs included "You're Brutiful" and "Espresso Yourself." The will noted, if they roll their eyes, deduct $50. 82. A former circus clown left his entire estate to whoever could make his pet parrot laugh. The bird hadn't laughed in years, but one grandchild succeeded by reciting a series of dad jokes in a clown wig. The bird squawked once, interpreted as laughter. Debate continues to this day. 83. A man left behind a single locked chest and a note that said, "Whatever's inside is yours, if you're brave enough to open it." His family gathered, cameras rolling. Inside, a mirror and a note. The treasure was self-confidence all along. Groans were heard across 3 counties. 84. A woman who adored vintage hats left each hat to a person who deserved more flair in their life. Each came with a handwritten note explaining why. One recipient said, "She gave me courage in the form of a feathered helmet. I haven't taken it off in weeks." 85. A Detroit musician requested that his final concert be played at his funeral by an orchestra of street musicians he'd supported over the years. They gathered, rehearsed for a week, and played one last symphony as he was laid to rest. His casket was shaped like a guitar case. 86. A man who collected vintage typewriters left one to each of his grandchildren, along with a typed note. "If you want your share of the inheritance, write me a letter first." The catch? He passed before giving them a mailing address. Some sent their letters to heaven, others to his storage locker. 87. A lifelong fisherman left a fully stocked tackle box and a boat, but only to whoever could catch a fish using his old bamboo rod on the lake where he first learned to fish. It took 3 months and a dozen mosquito bites, but his daughter finally landed a catfish. She named it Harold Jr. 88. A woman in Texas left her cat a mansion, a maid, and a personal chef, but the real twist? Her will forbade the staff from ever using the word kitty. "Her name is Duchess," it read. "Treat her accordingly, or get nothing." 89. A stand-up comedian left his ashes inside a microphone-shaped urn, which was then placed on stage at an open mic night with a spotlight on it. Every comic had to start their set with, "Hey, great to see Larry still working the room." 90. A cryptozoology enthusiast left behind a Sasquatch costume, detailed field notes, and $50,000 for anyone who could provide photographic proof of a Bigfoot sighting. A week after the funeral, his cousin found some blurry photos, but the judge ruled too convenient. 91. A man left his old pickup truck and a box labeled "The Good Stuff" to his best friend. Inside the box, dozens of Polaroids from their teenage years, plus 2 unopened beers and a cassette tape that played "Free Bird." No cash, just the past. 92. A woman who worked in a perfume lab left each of her relatives a custom fragrance inspired by your vibe. One got citrus and pine, another gunpowder and leather. Her brother's was labeled caffeine and regret. Family dinners have never smelled the same. 93. A professional escape room designer created one final challenge. His will was hidden behind a series of puzzles in his house. The family had to solve riddles, unlock drawers, and even crawl through a vent. It took them 2 days to find the document, and he left them a pizza coupon as a warm-up prize. 94. A collector of fast food memorabilia left a fully restored 1980s McDonald's play place in his backyard and a clause requiring it be maintained and used for all family events, birthdays, graduations, even funerals. The slide is not optional, his will read. 95. A man obsessed with James Bond left each of his heirs a spy mission instead of a check. One had to decode a safe, another had to tail a stranger in a cafe. Only those who completed their mission received their inheritance. The rest? Better luck in the next life. 96. A bar owner left behind a secret tab. He'd been tracking how many drinks each regular owed him, in spiritual debt. The will included a list of patrons and their karma tabs. Some had to settle up with community service. Others just had to leave better tips. 97. A woman left her ashes in a salt shaker with the request that she be sprinkled over French fries during a family reunion. "Don't waste me," she said. "I seasoned your childhood with love. Now season me back." And yes, they did it. And yes, it was weird. 98. A former teacher left $10,000 to every former student who could recite the preamble to the Constitution from memory. The local library was flooded with nervous adults whispering, "We the people." 99. A man left behind a collection of cassette tapes labeled "Advice for When You Really Need It." Topics ranged from how to handle rejection to making the perfect grilled cheese. One was just 20 minutes of him laughing. No one's quite sure what it was for, but it helps. 100. A woman who adored musicals instructed that her funeral be done entirely in song. The priest sang. The eulogies were choreographed. And at the end, a choir belted out "Don't Stop Believin'" as her casket lowered, surrounded by jazz hands and confetti. 101. And finally, one man left behind a note that simply read, "Spend it all on something ridiculous." The family bought a life-size replica of the Millennium Falcon, installed it in the backyard, and turned it into a guest house. He would have been proud or furious. Either way, mission accomplished. And that's it. 101 of the wildest, weirdest, and most unforgettable final wishes ever put to paper. Makes you wonder, if you could leave behind one ridiculous thing, what would it be? A golden statue of yourself? A haunted jukebox? Or maybe just a freezer full of suspicious hot dogs? Whatever it is, make it count. And hey, if you're watching this, it means you survived all 101. That's gotta be worth something. Till next time, keep it weird,